Hello. So I'm back with a new project, a platformer shooter game, Mr. KAPLAN's Cleaners. I don't know why I named it Mr. KAPLAN's Cleaners, but if you watch Blacklist, you know. This was a game I originally worked on for gamedev.tv gamejam, which I never got to submit because I'm a Nigerian. That's the only reason I'll give. It's enough. That's like losing 3-0 already. Electricity and a bunch of other stuff is not readily available to us. So yeah, a really cool looking guy that can fly with his jetpack, shoots, should I call them plasma, from his plasma gun, with these boost points that connect to each other and batteries to power your jetpack, which these kind of insect looking enemies drop when you kill them. Some new things I worked with here are destructible terrain, which is really satisfying. Destroying these destructible terrains is really satisfying with the screen shake and the sound effects. Funny enough, I finished this game within time range to submit, but making those extra finishing touches, and even I went to submit, but I was late by I think 2 minutes. Really sad. But I kept on working on it, and this is how far I've come. It's just one level so far, but I'll keep going, keep updating, keep building, keep showing steps I took and all. This little cutscenes, this is the second cutscene now, is with the camera movement and the camera zoom and all. I really enjoyed making it. It was fun. And these buttons with the conditions you have to meet. So here you can't click that button until you've met the condition, which is to destroy this polygon. And when you do that, boost points. Really satisfying. So the theme of the game jam was connection or connectivity, which is, the what I did here was the buttons that connect to boost points and boost points that connect to each other, and we're supposed to come up with a cool storyline, which I haven't been able to come up with. The level design gives off this space vibe, like an explorer trapped on an alien planet trying to refuel and get the hell out, discovering new kinds of aliens and new power source and all. That's what the storyline will be based on. But how to bring it to fruition, how to connect everything is my problem. So if you have ideas, you can drop in the comment section or not. Maybe someday I'll create a game about Nigeria. Imagine a country where everything is against you. Electricity is for the privileged, there's no security, basic structures like road, water utility, everything is luxury. If you have those, you're basically living in luxury if you have those basic amenities. If you have a car to drive you around, basic transportation requirements, it's a big luxury. That's Nigeria. That's the country I find myself in. If you have a good PC, anything you have that's working, it's a big luxury. It's the basic things we need here are only affordable by people who are living well. So if you own those things, you are seen as you're doing well, like you're doing well for yourself. I could sit here for the entirety of this video and tell you about how bad the situation of Nigeria is, but let's get back to the problem at hand. For the destructible terrain, I used Polygon 2D and Collision Polygon 2D. My first time using this, and oh my god, I faced a lot of headache. It took me a while to, even now I haven't fully understood, but to some extent, for the destruction of the polygon, I used geometry 2D, exclude polygon to make that happen. And if you notice, when some part of the polygon is destroyed and just a little percentage is left, the entire polygon is destroyed. It is queue-freed, destroyed completely. I was able to achieve that with the geometry 2D function. In fact, setting up this level was a headache because I saved the terrain piece as a scene on its own, but I couldn't just move it around, like I couldn't change the position of the terrain piece, right? If you check the transform, the position, the x and y coordinates always have to be 0. For this one, it's 71 to, but if you check the others, I'll check why this one changed. But all the others are 0, 0. So in order to move it to a different location, I had to how will I put it? I had to change the shape of the polygon entirely, move the vertices, not the position of the polygon, right? Because if I move the position, if I change the x and y coordinates of the polygon, the collision shape to the also changes. So I can be hitting the polygon 2D, but I wouldn't be hitting the collision shape, and it will cause a whole different. I mean, I went through this, so I know what I'm talking about. I may not be explaining it well, but I know what I'm talking about. For example, let me do this so you see it for yourself, right? If I instantiate this in the scene, the transform cannot be moved, right? So I have to drag the vertices to different points of the polygon. I have to drag them to where I want to place them, right? Rather, let me put it to the beginning of the level so you see exactly what I'm talking about. Move. And this for the polygon. So now I'll have to make the collision shape visible and move the collision shape too, because I'm moving both the polygon and the collision shape. I can't move only the polygon. It will create chaos. So move the collision shape, and let's check it out and see. They all have to fit, because if they don't, the effect of the collision wouldn't really make sense. Exactly. So that is how I positioned everything. I had to move the vertices, and then I found out later that if I change the position of the polygon 2D node and the collision 2D, right? The collision polygon, move them to the same x and y coordinates, not the terrain piece, not the scene, but the nodes themselves. It works. So yeah, this was after but anyways, it was the same thing because I had to reshape them to whatever shape I wanted. So it was okay. I didn't really waste my time. On this project, I worked with a lot of new things that I had not used before. If you've been following my progress, you would have noticed by now. For example, I used screen shake effect. You know that little screen shake when a polygon is destroyed or when the player is hit by enemies. I It was fairly simple, right? But it made a lot of change to the game. Now, where did I hoard care nodes and group hoard? Okay, I know I saved hoard with a different name. Let's see, file manager, no, warning. Yes, I saved it in warning. Yeah, so basically, what happens during the screen shake effects is we we change camera offset. We change camera offset by shake amount for shake duration of time. That's just what the screen shake effect is. It's that simple. So I'll say it again. I'm not an artist, so all the assets I used here were free assets. I got this, I think, from H. Yeah, I think it's from H, but I got assets from H, from Kenny's, from a lot of different sites. Yeah, but this one was really cool, right? That they had so many animations, but these were the ones I was able to integrate in such short period of time, and I really wanted to. Anyways, I don't think I have use for the others. But whoever created this, I've forgotten the person's name, but he did a really good work on this. For the bullet, the plasma bullet, we use the glow effect. I use GPU particles too. This is my first time using GPU particles in any project. So yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. The bullet also has a collision polygon. That's the way it destroys. It chips. It actually clips out of the destructible terrain, the main polygon, by using append. It clips the rip based on the size of the collision polygon of the bullet. Remember, these are still free assets. I did not create any of this artwork. I got them for free from each or Kenny's. There's a lot of places you can get these. I use point light effect to give a little glow. So these lighting effects, sound, GP particle effects, they change the game from mundane to, makes it feel so special and all. Just little effects you put here and there are what defines the game in the end. So I failed to mention for Rocky, for the first time I used visual shader. This was my first time using visual shaders, and believe it or not, this entire connection, this big from here to there to there, it was all for one thing, just to give a glowing effect to the whatever blue light coming out of the rocket. This propulsion effect coming out from the rocket, I don't want to call it fire. Oh yeah, that blue thing, just to give it that glow effect. That's what all the connection, the whole visual shader was for, just for that. Yes. And I used world environment in my 2D game. World environment is usually for 3D, but this time I used it for 2D, and that's what gave that glow effect. Yeah, I turned on glow here. That's what I used to, make the whole glow effect. It's really crazy. These little things that just change. I'm telling you, like, if we scrape out all the effects, the glow, the sound, the screen shake, you know, the little lighting, if we remove everything and still keep the mechanics, the game is not going to feel the same. It's going to feel so mundane and boring and simple, you know? That's something I've learned. In future videos, I'll show you how I created these little nice cutscenes. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.